Hello, and you are back in the Velvet Room with Jokerthefool. This is our 60th episode, and today we'll be discussing Yaira 1 proves that the parallel economy is here to stay, the Oscars aren't, and credit card late fees aren't the problem. So we're going to get right into this, and of course I'm going to go all in on the Braxcast and all the news that we got from Yaira 1, but I want to talk about the cultural significance of the latest campaign from the Rippaverse, which has made over $1 million in just about 24 hours. It was basically right on the dot of crossing that $1 million mark. Over 10,000 books sold. Basically, in the first day, this campaign comes out. And what that really proves to basically me, the world, the audience, whoever, is that the parallel economy is something that exists. It's here to stay. People are economic actors, and they're tired of it, using their economic action to engage with the mainstream, and they'd much rather go to the Rippaverse and even places like Timcast and Joe Rogan podcast. So people want to put their time, money, and attention to things that aren't being pumped out by Hollywood. That's why people aren't buying Marvel and DC books in the way they used to be, and they're going towards the Rippaverse and crowdfunding the comic books, and that's why. Helldivers 2 is published by Sony, but people love the indie game scene. There have been games that have been crowdfunded, and all these sorts of things. So the ability to get into in any aspect of the entertainment industry, the barrier for entry has been lower, and you have more people than ever before who are looking for alternative means to entertain themselves and what Hollywood and the legacy media is pumping out to people. And Yaira 1 is proof of that. Yaira 1 making $1 million is 100% proof of that. It's 100% proof that you can find your audience, they'll rock with you, and a lot of people are going to do that. Is it going to be the degree of success that Yaira is? Not everybody, but you'll have enough people who experience enough success that instead of having like 5 multi-million-dollar studios, you might have $100 million studios making movies, and the amount of content is going to be better. It's going to be more tailored to specific groups, and it's going to allow a culture to actually flourish in a meaningful way. And some stuff is going to elevate to that big level, and you'll get some bigger actors in the parallel economy, but I think it's going to be a completely different entertainment landscape than the one that we've been used to. Anyone who has, basically anyone who's an adult now, anyone who experienced the time when the internet was either still up and coming or before the internet in the dark ages. So the internet's fundamentally changed the way we get information, we entertain ourselves, we do so much in the world, and it's going to include how entertainment gets made and who's making the entertainment. It's not just a bunch of people in suits who hire soulless creatives. It's going to be people who are actually the creatives, who own their businesses and who have a direct line of sight with the customers, and those customers are going to rock with them for them, and it's going to allow a golden age of entertainment and creativity to flourish. But what's indicative of the fact that the mainstream is dying, if you look at the Oscars, and the Oscars were on the 10th, so it was on a Sunday, and nobody is really talking about the Oscars all that much. I mean, there's some, I guess, talk about Oppenheimer, but more people are talking about Trump making fun of the Oscars and then Kimmel making fun of Trump for making fun of the Oscars. People aren't really interested in what Hollywood is doing. More or less are just interested in watching the demise of Hollywood, if they're even interested in that. So that's only got a limited audience. So people way past the golden age of Hollywood, way past this golden age of legacy entertainment. And people see that, and people have mostly disengaged from that, but we haven't gotten into that pathway to engage with this new parallel economy. Not everyone's gotten in there. The first wave of people have gotten in there, and there's enough people for stuff like the Rippaverse to happen, but it's not quite there yet. But people aren't watching the Oscars, and the stuff that gets in the news about the Oscars, if the Oscars is getting in the news cycle, it's about Trump. It's not about the quality of the movies or what the actors are saying, or this being this spectacle of an event like it used to be. It's more or less just how much of a political game it is, really. And that's the sad thing about this, is that the legacy institutions of entertainment that we knew and loved, they're basically no more. They exist in name only, and a lot of people are very sad about that and have just disengaged from that. That's why streaming services, the most popular things, are older shows from the 90s, the early 2000s, how even stuff from the early 2010s, because like Breaking Bad ended in the early 2010s, and a lot of stuff that gets made is just derivative sequels or remakes. Like one of the bigger shows on Netflix that came out at the end of last month in February was the live action adaptation of The Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender, not a new original IP. And you've got the Fallout show. So Hollywood isn't really churning out fun original content. That stuff is being churned out by the independent circuit, and that method of getting people to engage with that is still forming. So we're in this very weird area where that scene is up and coming, and it is booming in some ways, but it's definitely not quite there yet. But you simultaneously have people who have completely checked out of legacy entertainment for the most part. I mean, that's why you see the Oscars basically being a dud, and it has been for years, and it just seems to continue to be so. And again, I'll reiterate, the biggest news is the Oscars got into the news cycle because Trump made fun of it, and then Kimmel had to make fun of Trump making fun of it because all these people have this massive hate boner for Trump, think he's the Antichrist, basically. But there's that. I think I've gabbed on long enough about that. If you're still sticking with me, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we're heading right into the last topic. This is going to go at Biden. So this was going around last week. Biden presented this plan to help fix the economy by forcing credit card companies to lower their late fees. I think it's going from like $29 to $8 or something like that. But the amount of money doesn't matter. But this is being presented as something that's going to help people. It's going to ease I guess the financial suffering of the average American. And the issue isn't that this is happening. The issue, the issue is that people think that that Biden and his handlers are presenting this as this is some actual solution to inflation, the structural problems that the workforce and the economy creates, and also like this is going to help people, because a lot of people, if you are in credit card debt and you're paying late fees, you've got so many more problems than if the late fees go down a little bit. And if you're the type of person who runs a credit card balance and doesn't even pay the minimum payment, are you even likely to even give a shit about the late fees? And even if you do you even have the money to pay them? Even if it goes from $29 to $8, you don't have that money in the first place. You don't have that room in your budget to even keep your head slightly above water, or even even get a chance of getting your head to start being above water. And that's the issue there, is that there are these structural problems in the economy, and lowering the credit card late fees or doing all these things that are presented as, hey, we think this is helping you, it isn't really at all. Again, if you have a credit card balance and you're not making the minimum monthly payments, then you have a lot more problems on your hands than that will not be resolved if the credit card late fees are forced to go down by the state. And that's fundamentally the issue there. And a lot of people are in debt and have all these financial problems, not because of external economic factors. Those exacerbate their personal financial situation, and they don't have any ability to have meaningful personal to engage with a good, strong personal finance situation, or I don't know, situation is the best word, but to have good personal finances, to be able to execute consistently on the behavior of one who has good personal finances. And it's because of this culture that we live in, this consumer culture, this spend culture, keeping up with the Joneses, having to party every weekend, so people aren't spending time becoming more skilled and more learned, which means they will be able to increase their income by going into better jobs. And a lot of people are stuck working for corporate America, and that's all about gaming the system and climbing the corporate ladder, which really doesn't imbue you with hard skills that enrich your life. It just sucks your soul for a paycheck that's barely enough or not even enough to pay your living expenses. So you really can't self-actualize and self-improve into the ability to provide for yourself, but a family. So the idea of like having a single income household is out the window for so many people, not just because of the economic factors that make it harder to. It's that so many people who would even have the possibility to get into that income level. Not only is it hard to do so, it's just the environment, the culture that we have demoralizes you to do that. And these are structural and cultural problems that a slightly lower credit card fee credit card late fee, I should say, is not going to fix. But the idea this is something that the state can strong arm these banks into doing, or do some underhanded backhand deal under the table with these credit card companies, and they do this and they can tout this out in the news cycle as if Biden actually did something for the financial situation of the working class and the poor people, and that's really what it's being presented as. So it's all part of the psyop, and basically most things are these days. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you for listening to this one. This was a real rambly episode, as it usually is. But if you enjoyed this one, thank you. We're heading into the outro now. Thank you for being in the Velvet Room with Joker the Fool. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, whether you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, or Substack. And be sure to subscribe to my Substack, velvetroompublishing.substack.com, to keep up with Machine to Man and all my other projects.